So, this verse is pointing our attention to the need to become extricated from the shackles of material bondage characterized by lust, anger, and greed. These three elements are considered to be gateways to hellish existence. Hellish existence is real, it's not fictional. It is also a contemporary situation, and hell is also having its particular locations. There are different type of hellish conditions. Like we are living on the Earth planet. There are hellish planets. In the Bhagavad Purana, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, descriptions are given vividly what goes on in hell. Who merits a ticket to go there? Who would like to buy a ticket to go there? So, is there anyone here who wants to get to know where to get a ticket to go there? Hellish planets. There's a lot of good things going on there. A lot of good things going on there in hellish planet. And the Bhagavatam is described how some of the hellish planets, their juice is like, an ocean of blood, pus, and urine. Blood, pus, and urine. The worst things you can think of. That's the juice. So hell is real, but if we are suffering on this planet right now, we are also in a hellish condition. The question is, what is causing people to suffer in hellish conditions? Either here or hereinafter. So in this purport, it is given that these three things, these three emotions, greed, anger, and lust, are, the tickets. The tickets to be able to, get a leeway to hellish planet, hellish existence, to sufferings now and hereinafter. I'm sure no one in this hall wants to buy just a ticket, because it's not a good place. If it's just like when we are suffering on this planet, it's no good deal. People want to be free from any type of suffering they are entangled in on this planet. The whole of our human existence, the human struggle, is based on how to live a happy and peaceful life. So nobody wants to suffer. But we do get some suffering. No one wants to go to hell. But, there are people who are eligible to go there. The eligibility is that one is properly situated on the platform of lust, greed, and anger. And your eligibility is beyond 100%, guaranteed. No qualms, no doubt, you got your ticket. So, we don't want that. We want to go to places that we can have higher enjoyment, or want to live on this planet to be able to have, a better relationship with people, have a good life, and enjoy our lives. Afterwards, the purpose of human life is meant for enjoyment. The purpose of life is meant for enjoyment. What did I say? The purpose of life is meant for enjoyment. Is there anyone here who is doubting it? Who doubts this statement about the purpose of life? According to Bhakti Vasudeva Swami. Yes. Ananda Maya, this is the verdict of the Vedic literature. Ananda Maya Vyasat. We are all looking for Ananda Maya, enjoyment, bliss. That's what we are looking for. So basically, why are we looking for that? Because by nature, our life is full of enjoyment. By nature, by our very natural being, our life is characterized by bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Bliss, knowledge, and eternity. We are eternal. We are not subject to death, disease, or old age. But here we are engaged in these bodies. And these bodies are concomitant factors to disease, old age, suffering, and death. And because of these bodies, we are compelled to do certain things that violate, the rules of universal justice. And there are rules governing this universe. And inasmuch as we violate the rules, then we pay some price for it. And that is why there is all of this variegatedness in human society. Some people are suffering, some people are apparently enjoying, and some people are really enjoying. It's because the people who are suffering have violated the universal constitution. When you violate the constitution of any country you are, you get arrested, you get prosecuted, and if you're found guilty, you're jailed. So when one is suffering, it could be understood that they have violated the universal constitution. That is why a number of people are being ruled by these negative emotions, which ordinarily speaking, nobody wants to be angry and cause so much of destruction. Sometimes some people are angry, they have some friction in the house, maybe friction between husband and wife, between spouses, or friction between boyfriend and girlfriend. They break things in the house. They break TV, they break so many things. That's what anger can cause. And when someone is greedy, they are not satisfied with anything they have. They want to encroach on others' goods and facilities. And so that causes a lot of friction, because you will violate other people's rights. You encroach into other people's comfort zone. And so this is part of the effects of the greed. So many wars have been going on the planet because of the greed of the leaders, political leaders. And so even in the families, we'll find out if someone is imbued with greed, they're never satisfied. Whatever you give to them, they're never satisfied. So this lack of contentment with what the people have, and then an effort to move on to encroach on other people's belonging, it causes so much of pain to the victims. And sometimes they resort to violence. So we all know what greed can cause. And lust is described in this same Bhagavad-gita. Lord Krishna mentioned that this lust is we think we have enemies. We think we have enemies. And the enemies that we always think about is what I would call exogenous enemies, external enemies, extrinsic enemies, enemies from outside. But there are also enemies which are endogenous or intrinsic, from within. And that enemy is living with us, right? Living with us in the same, not just in the same house, not just sleeping with us on the same bed, but right inside of us. So that really becomes a difficult thing to deal with. And that is the lust factor. And now, that lust could propel us to seek for power and control. That lust could also propel us to just seek for, to become a little different from everybody else. I know of cases, even when I was a young teenager, cases of people, young teenagers, who don't follow the fashion. They don't go by anything that is in vogue. They want to do their things in their own way so that they could be very distinct. If it's a dress, they don't follow your fashion. This is what is in vogue. No. Because everybody is using that, I have to be different. It's called distinction. We want to be distinct from others. And, lust propels people, pushes people to seek for adoration. I want to be worshipped. I'm so great. I'm better than anybody else. Therefore, I'm merit to be worshipped. Do the puja to me. Puja should be for Krishna, We may not say it, but by our actions, it just shows that we want to be worshipped. And I've seen this. I lived in Hare Krishna movement. I've been in the Hare Krishna movement for 32 years, and I've seen this, practically in most cases when I was younger, living in the ashram as a brahmachari. And there are some people who have been in the movement, who have been in the ashram before you, and then you come, and they always want to dominate you. They want to show you that, look, I am your senior. This morning you did not pay obeisances to me. Why? You're supposed to pay obeisances to me because I am your senior. So, yeah, in so many ways. But you know what? Loss is not a bad thing. That is what makes the whole world click. That keeps the world revolving. If there's no loss, we wouldn't be here, We wouldn't be here. Because our parents meet each other, they have fun and produce us. Oh yeah. Without lust, material world will not be there. Material existence will not be there. So all glory is to lust. But lust is subsumed in Krishna's 4-stage model of anger. You know, who studied management here to master's or PhD level? Management. Because there are different models of change in management studies. Different theories of change in management studies. So Krishna is the greatest postulator of models. And this model, the 4-stage model of anger is there in the Gita. In Bhagavad-gita 262, you read it. Check it, you read it. Where Krishna mentions about Jayataha Vishaya Pumsa Sangas Tishu Pajayate Sanga Sanjayate Karma Kama Krodha Vijayate. Stage 1, contemplation. Contemplation. Why we're thinking about matters so much in our lives? Because we could develop attachment for that. And when we become attached, we want to hold on to it. Aham mameti, I and mine. We don't want to let it go. Say I'm thinking of, there's a new limousine now. That's been manufactured. I'm thinking of getting that limousine. I saw the limousine. I said, wow. It's amazing. It's like a small apartment. A TV, everything is there. So I thought, I need to have this. Who else can have it? Me. I meant to have this. And I go to sleep and I'm thinking about it. And then I develop attachment for it. And it's still ringing in my head. I need that limousine. I need that limousine. It's so good. And when I ride that limousine on the street, on 2nd Avenue, then you see that, all these beautiful ladies, they will just come out and say, oh, here goes him. I become attached to the limousine. I'm thinking about the benefits of having this limousine. But I wanted the bank. To try to secure some funds, some loan for it. And then my bank manager said, boy, I'm sorry, you don't merit it. We can't give you a loan for it because your deposit, your account, you don't have money there. Oh, my dream is shattered. I contemplated on that limousine when I saw it, and then I developed attachment for it. I need to have it. I make moves to have it. I didn't secure it. I could not procure it. I had lacked the resources. I become angry. Why is the system made like this? Money is there in the bank. I have an account there. Give me the money to buy. I'll pay you gradually. They said, no. All right. I'll come and rob that bank. And get the money by force. So first there is contemplation, and then the contemplation became deep. It gives rise to attachment. Attachment creates a situation where we eventually want it. We want to own that object of, that our mind has been resting on, that we've been contemplating, that we've become attached to. We want to own it. And because we're not able to procure it, we become devastated. So this is the change model, the anger change model. So loss is subsumed in this anger change model. From attachment, lust develops. I'm attached to it. I need to have it. Loss is basically like, from loss, attachment ensues. From attachment, loss ensues. Loss is like a brainchild. It's a brainchild of attachment. I want it. Then you struggle by all means. Day or night, you're dreaming of how to get this limousine. And this guy is a poor guy. He has no job. Even the little money he has in the bank, some friends donated to him. Some good Samaritan opened the bank account for him just in case someone gives him some money, he can dump it there. But he wants a limousine. If he gets a limousine, how is he going to be paying? That's not his idea. I just want the limousine. And now, there's a devastation. So you become lusty after the limousine. Sometimes people think lust means to pursue after the opposite sex or pursue someone for gratification. But lust is just anything you can think of. Anything you can think of. When you're overwhelmed by a desire to obtain something and you're dreaming of it, you're lusty after it. Political leaders, you're fine. They kill people just to be able to achieve what they've been dreaming of. Lust for power. Lust for money can cause people to rob and kill themselves. So this change, people are talking about change. They think it's a new concept because Krishna did not use directly the word change. Change is there in the Gita, man. Change is there. Yeah, there are so many models of change in the Gita, models of transformation in the Gita. But the text is talking about these negative emotions, greed, anger, and lust. That's why I'm bringing up this, the anger change model, in which lust is just one of the stages, is the third stage. And therefore, it behooves us to be able to understand what is going on in our emotions, what is going on within our consciousness, so that we don't sit on things that we know could be too difficult for us to get. So that we know the dangers and the merits of thinking about anything. By contemplating on the object of the senses, one develops attachment. From attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger is generated. And you go to the next verse, it gives you, further delineation about what goes on when anger comes. And therefore, Lord Krishna is a perfect management scientist. He's a perfect psychologist. He gives these models of change. So much models of change in the Gita. Again, in chapter 2 of the Gita, there's another one model of change Krishna gave was about, changing bodies. Dehinosme yata dehe kumara yavanamjara tata dehantara praptis dhiras tata yamuyat. Again, Krishna mentions how the change goes from childhood to boyhood to youth to old age. And count the stages. You see that, So stages of change models, different change models. Krishna has given this to us thousands of years ago. These professors in management who are just, claiming that they have developed this change model and that change model. Thousands of years ago, Krishna has developed series of change models. He didn't make a propaganda about it. The problem is, if you have something and you don't make a propaganda about it, you don't go to the newspapers and then make some interview and tell people, this is what I've done. People tend to think that you are not a registered scholar. But Krishna is a registered scholar. He spoke this whole Bhagavad-gita. So, devotional service is the answer. Yes, these problems are there, but when we engage in devotional service, we're chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. Devotional service, it means we are doing some service. We are doing something. So we have to think about what type of service we are performing, what type of service we are doing to Prabhupada. If you are aligned with the spiritual master, you should ask yourself, what am I doing? What is my service to my spiritual master? That's how it works. That's how to expedite the purification process. When we're doing this devotional service, we're coming and hearing, and we are also cultivating. The word cultivate is there in the purport. Cultivate means, like you have a farm or a garden and you cultivate in a garden. It means you plant some crops, some seeds, or whatever. You water them. When they growing up, if there are weeds, you have to, do the weeding. You monitor it. It becomes like a baby that you're caring for. Devotional service should be like a baby that we are caring for. And then we will be able to have expedited spiritual purification without any doubts. This is an age-long process that people have followed over the years, and they have attained spiritual results, emancipation or liberation from these ill emotions of anger, greed, and lust, which is causing so much of devastation to human society. And the fundamental idea or fundamental principle of this devotional service within the present dispensation is to chant Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you have not started chanting, you should try it. The results, you will see the results yourself within a short while. You'll be transformed. You'll be a better person. So, today incidentally is also a very great day in our devotional culture. Today is Balaram Purnima. Balaram Purnima means the appearance day of Lord Balarama, or the appearance of Lord Balaram. When Lord Balarama appeared on this planet. Who is Lord Balarama? Balaram is Krishna himself, because that is Krishna's expansion, direct expansion. It's like you have a candle. You may have an original candle, but that candle is used in lighting another candle. That candle that is lit It has all the potentials, all the powers of the original candle. The difference is there's original candle that was used in lighting the other candle. So Balaram is explained in the Bhagavad Purana or Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, 11th canto, and the 12th canto. 10th canto, especially 10th canto and 11th canto, 10th canto and 12th canto, that Lord Balaram is a direct expansion of Krishna. And when Krishna wants to come to this world, he always comes with his brother, with his companion, with his expansion. Balaram is that very direct, one of those, is direct expansion of Krishna. And so, I was mentioning to Greek area this afternoon how during Lord Ramachandra's time, all of you, is there anybody here who doesn't know about Lord Ramachandra? I don't know about Lord. Okay. Lord Ramachandra, he is the incarnation of Krishna, who appeared on this planet millions of years ago, about 2 million or over 2 million years ago. And he came to teach how people should lead their communities. A Raja Rishi. A Raja Rishi means someone who is a king and at the same time a saintly person. Raja means king, Rishi means a saint. So Lord Ramachandra is Vishnu or Krishna himself, but he came to demonstrate how to lead society by his own personal example. So when Lord Ramachandra was on the planet, he had one of his brothers was Lakshman, and Lakshman was following him. Is that correct? Yeah. Lakshman was following him everywhere he went. When he was bound to the forest, he was there with him, with the wife, or Lord Ramachandra's wife, Sita. But Lakshman had faced a lot of challenges in dealing with Lord Ramachandra, in helping Lord Ramachandra, and in helping, Sita. So because of the challenges that he passed through, he literally wanted that if they are coming again for any pastime, he has to be the senior brother, not the junior brother. Because too much trouble for being a junior brother. He was ordered here and there. At one time, even Sita accused him of something that was so painful to Lakshman. So he just, wanted that he should be the older brother. So Krishna, Krishna is, when you talk of psychology of adjustment, Krishna is the best adjuster. So Krishna adjusted. He looks okay. So from there, each time they're coming, he becomes the older brother. So when Krishna has to come, Balaram came first. And that is based on the past event in the Lord Ramachandra's Leela, where Lakshman was, passed through so much of difficulties and he didn't want that again. And so it appears that even the Supreme Lord exhibits or apparently exhibits some limitation to his to how you can push him. Therefore, we are conditioned, so we should understand we should not exert too much of push on people, all in the name of devotional service. Sometimes we do the things and we just think, this is devotional service, I'm just asking to do this. But we ask people to do this without showing some loving care. I remember, when I told this story in the past. I was in Canada one year, and then I was in Montreal, and then there was this group of traveling Sankirtan devotees, some brahmacharis, and so this the leader of the group, he came to meet me. He came to make some inquiries. He said, Maharaj, how can I help these devotees in their devotional life? I said, it's a very simple thing. You should treat them the way you will treat your beloved younger brother at home. I said, treat all these brahmacharis who are traveling with you, treat them like your beloved younger brother at home. He came for advice now. I was sitting in my apartment, he came for advice, so I advised him. But he said, oh Maharaj, that's very difficult. My question is, what is the difficulty? We have been told we are not these bodies. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. Not to treat someone as part and parcel of Krishna, treat someone as your beloved younger brother is a difficult thing? I don't think it's difficult. And therefore, they say practice makes perfect. And so this institutional arrangement is there. If we have to be able to make quick progress, then basically we have to go beyond the bodily designations, the gender issue, and age factor. And just because I am wearing this clothes and traveling around the world as a sannyasi doesn't mean that I'm better than any one of you. No. And just because someone is a temple commander or temple manager doesn't mean that he's better than any one of you. No. The person has been given an opportunity to coordinate affairs. If he does it without crushing on people, there will be expedited purification. But the danger of being given a position is so intense, is so horrible, that a position is like, what do you call? It's like an intoxicant, like a psychedelic drug. Power intoxicates. And so when we are dealing with our devotees, we have to be careful. The Prabhupada mentions in the Prabhupada here that one should be very careful. One should be very careful about these enemies: lust, anger, and greed. Of course, Lord Krishna mentions in the Gita that it is very difficult to change our nature coupled with our nurture. Our personality. It's very difficult to change that. But the point is that we can grow and we can evolve and transcend those ill characteristics that we were born with in devotional service. And in that way, we will be able to relate to people in a very amicable way. And even we are engaging someone to do some service, we have to relate with that person or give the instruction in such a way that we think globally, but then we act locally. Because you could be in that position the next month or the next year. I trained people in devotional service when I was temple president, and I gave up being the president. And I worked under those same devotees. They became president. I worked under them as their pujaris, and at the same time, scholar going out for academic preaching and all the rest of them. Yeah, I had that experience. I have lived that. So you're given a position doesn't mean that in ISKCON, even anywhere, anywhere. So back to the point. Balaram, he had appeared. But he did not appear like another human being. It's Krishna's primary expansion. He did not appear like another being. And it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, and in the 10th canto, the description is there, how Yogamaya was instructed different ways to facilitate, the transfer of Balaram from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. And again, the conception was not based on seminal conception. So when the Lord wants to appear, it doesn't have to come through seminal conception. In fact, even with Lord Krishna, if those of you who have read the 10th canto, you find that Lord Krishna appeared before the mother and the father in their house in a gigantic form of Vishnu. Gigantic form. You know that he was locked up in the womb, and then the mother has to go under, labor, and no. And then the parents prayed to him that, look, we can't keep you in our house like this. We wanted to be like a normal baby. And he turned to a normal baby. There and then he turned to a normal baby, small baby. But again, decorated with ornaments all over his body. This is the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so Balaram basically is that personality who is there, who appeared first before Krishna. But this is the Lord's desire, the Lord's will. Why? Because the Lord also needs companion. The Lord is coming. He could just come by himself. Why does he need companion? The Lord is very social too. You think you're the only one who is social? he wants to hang out with his brothers, with his family. So it is described in the Vedic literature how when they were small, Krishna and Balaram, and those of you who have been to Vrindavan, you find that Vrindavan is very dusty. Now they are making it like, they are urbanizing it because all these skyscrapers are coming up and all this stuff. But originally, especially during the rainy season, it used to be very difficult, a place to move for kids. So when they were small, Krishna and Balaram, they would normally put on ankle bells. And so when the ladies are passing, either they're coming from the forest or going from the market or to whatever, when they're passing, they couldn't really resist focusing on Krishna and Balaram. They were beauty personified. Beauty personified. And they were also fond of, the Vrajabasis. And the two of them, the Vrajabasis, sometimes they will pass. And after they've even gone a long distance, because they were always allowed to play in the courtyard and outside. I mean, it's not like today that you don't allow your kids to come out because you're afraid of something. But Vrindavan wasn't like that. So they will come out, they will play around. But as kids, sometimes they see some of these ladies, they're going, or they're coming from some place, and like when they were just like toddlers creeping, they'll be creeping and following them until sometimes they've really gone far away and they will hear ankle bells, and then the ladies will turn back and see these beautiful kids, and they will come back and pick them and take them back to their home. So there was this, they grew up, they were nurtured in just a loving community. Again, the principle of love, social relationship, socialization is also there in spiritual environments. Otherwise, we just think that, once you become spiritual, everything becomes like, zero. No relationship with people. You just find your face and all this stuff. But, that's not the merit. And so Balaram, just like Krishna killed demons, he also killed some demons. Just like Krishna had gopis, he also had gopis. But then the bottom line is that he came to facilitate Krishna's pastimes. And Balaram is the foremost of every acharya. Every acharya, every spiritual master is more or less an expansion of Balaram. So for those of us who want to have inner strength, to function in our spiritual life, on days of this type, we fast. We perform some austerity. Today, in most temples, devotees fast till sunset because it's a special day. It comes once in a year, and because Balaram is the foundation of our devotional strength, we like to pray to Lord Balaram to be able to sustain our devotional strength, for us to be able to move on in our spiritual life. Because spiritual life is not so easy. If someone tells you devotional service, is so easy, then perhaps they've not tried it yet. So we pray to Lord Balaram to help us, to guide us, to protect us from the attacks of delusory energy, and to be able to have a focus on our duties and in our service to the devotees, and of course our service to Lord Krishna, to the spiritual masters of Prabhupada. So today is a very auspicious day, and if you did not know about it, to be aware that another Balaram Punima, Balaram's appearance, is going to be coming up again in August next year, hopefully August, because the dates change. Every year the Vaishnava calendar changes slightly, but these days are very important in our lives. They are days of celebrations or festivities. In some temples, there'll be really like a very big feast for the appearance of Lord Balaram. So the bottom line is that we need strength in our devotional life. Today is a day we need to pray to Balaram. We want to function. We want to remain sustained in our devotional culture. We need prayers. We need help. So today we should pray to Lord Balaram to help us to become focused and sustained in our devotional life. Are there some comments or questions on this so far?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sometimes we're, because of work or some friends or obligations in society, we have to associate with people who are lusty, angry, and greedy. And how do we protect ourselves in that kind of circumstance? Especially if we have to deal with it in a work environment.
Yeah. These are the norms of society. Anger, greed, exploitation. But you see, when the devotees, we have to be aware that when we are out there, yes, we should be exemplary, but we should follow the organizational norms. Every organization has a standard or grand norms. Every organization that you're working, whether it's an institution, whether it is an industrial factory or whatever, there are norms. And so we have to make sure, we have to be sure that we are encouraging people to follow this standard. It's just like if you are working in a particular office and someone becomes unnecessarily angry for minor things, and you could speak to the person, but not get affected by that. The point is that we are there to give association and not to take association. It's a mindset. A devotee is out there working, schooling, but we are there to give association, not to imbibe their culture. So someone, you have to maintain, what Bhakti Swami calls psychological space. You have to maintain a psychological space when you're dealing with people out there. Because some of them, the energies that they radiate alone could really, give you and create an imbalance in your consciousness. So then you have to be able to understand that these are the type of energies I'm dealing with. And so you don't just leave yourself as if you are in Vrindavan, you're free. Have that mindset that, this is a dangerous place. I have to get my job done and then get out from here. We can't avoid associating with non-devotees. We can't avoid associating with people who are greedy, who are lusty, who are angry. No, it's not possible, because these are the values, in quote, these are the values of modern society. We just have to understand that we build up, we beef our energies, we create a world by dint of our consciousness, our sadhana. And I recommend, this is one of the reasons why we should do our sadhana before we go out. We should chant our japa before we go out. Because you're going out, it's like you're going into a warfare, a battlefield. If you go to the battlefield, you need to really put on your boots, put on your bulletproofs, your helmet. So these are the ways to protect you from trouble, from getting some stray bullet to run you down. When we're doing this, we'll be able to deal with all of these energies that we encounter and come back again to get ourselves reinforced for the next day. And then but if we say, when I come back before I chant, we're really looking for trouble. Yeah. This is a nice issue you raise. Someone, and I was giving this example to one graduate student who was claiming that he's very busy, or he was very busy, and time to chant is a problem. So he can only chant when he comes back. I said, it's all right. But what you're trying to do, I'll give this example. What you're trying to do is like, there's a war. You're designated to go to Iraq. A war. Which other place, which other country there is current war now?
Syria.
Okay, you have been designated to go to Syria. And here you go. You just put it on swimming pants. Put on swimming pants and say you're going to the war front. And you tell your beloved, your wife or your spouse and your children that, oh darling, I'll see you later. She's not going to see you later. You're just going to die there because you're not prepared. So if we are going out and we don't take cognizance of the fact that we are going to the war field, to the battlefield, and we need to be prepared. We need to do our japa so that we don't allow those negative energies to run us down. We encounter all of this all the time. You see, I was coming today and and this is what you guys do every day. So, and I just, on the train, on the subway, I can feel those horrible energies. Yeah. That's just 1 hour. Just one hour from Queens to here. Just 1 hour. And if you're working in an office, what energies do these people radiate? Greed, lust, anger. So if you don't chant, the chanting helps like it creates an insulation. All this electrical current, the wire that conducts the electricity is insulated. If it's not insulated, it's going to wreak havoc on people. So insulate yourself from all of these negative emotions that you literally have to encounter every moment of your life out there. So when you do the chanting, before you go, you have done what I will call spiritual insulation. You have insulated yourself. And you just go, you can go and mingle with them, and then sometimes you're just happy all through. And then they wonder, what did you eat that you look so happy? We are all sad. We are so frustrated, stressed, and you are so happy. What's going on? Yeah. So we should take the japa Papa mentions seriously. The process should be taken seriously. That will help to forestall any type of dangerous ill effects with the association that we have to deal with every day. Does it give some?
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
Hi, Maharaja. You said anger is a way to get to the hellish world.
It's one of the gateways. Just one of them.
But what if you're not, like, you don't get angry in work, you don't get angry, like, to anybody, but when it comes to your kids, you don't know how to
deal with that.
Yeah, they don't listen, or they do what they want to do, so you're angry constantly, and you chant, and you try to play the Hare Krishna in the background, but it's still, it consumes you sometimes because they just don't do what you're telling them.
Yeah, anger is always there. I get angry with my professors also. Because sometimes people can really do funny things, and then you get upset. Okay? But you don't allow that to overrule you, to overwhelm you. Say, for instance, you have kids. The major challenge of a parent is that, and this is something that is plaguing the whole world, parents think that they have a right to be angry to their children all the time. The children is their property, so they can move them around. You know, your property can move around like this, like a jigsaw puzzle. Hey, push it there. That's okay, no problem. But if you ask them to do something, sit down there, then that's the time. So when the kids, when you just sit down there, that's the time they get up. That's the time they get up. You know what you're telling them? Sit down there, they do completely the opposite. So I do understand, I know what you're talking about. It's something that happens on a daily basis. So what you do is that you should see that as a challenge, your own temptation. Your own temptation. So the anger comes. What do Krishna say in the Gita? Tam titikshaswa bharata. We should tolerate our senses. We should tolerate those negative emotions. Because based on our feelings, if we act based on our feelings, and even not spiritual stuff now, even materially speaking, in the social sciences, I've read so many scholars who have said, you're feeling, no problem. Whether you act on those feelings, that is the issue. Someone pricks you, just you're living in the material world, in a material body, you're bound to be poked. How you react to it, that is the issue. You carry a gun and kill the person? Two wrongs can make it right. So if your kid acts in funny ways that makes you angry, there's no problem with being angry. But control yourself. Fourth challenge, control yourself. I remember I was in upstate New York for some years, living with my friend and family. So one of the kids, the grown-up guy, he was asking the mother that, does Maharaj ever get angry? I've never seen him get angry. Yeah, so the mother came to ask me. So I said, well, someone can upset me, but I have lived my life. I've lived my life in such a way that I'm highly adjustable. Now the problem is when you are maladjusted, that's a problem. There are two things, maladjustment and adjustment. If you are highly maladjusted, you will always want even your children, your household members, to act in ways that suits you. You don't want to adjust yourself to suit their purpose. That's one problem that causes so much of difficulties in dealing with other people. It has caused wars between countries. When the political leaders are maladjusted and they want to just act based on their ego. I am like this. And you talk to me like that? I will teach you a lesson. It begins with the family. I am your parent. I am your mom. And you're not respecting me? All right. I spank you. See, I was born in Africa. And Africa is like India or South America, where abuse is very heavy. But I tell this to some people and they can't believe it. I can't remember a day in my life when any of my family members even told me, shut up there. Not to speak of anybody using their hand on me. No. I've seen my parents fight, but none of them had even spoken to me harshly for the whole of my life. For the whole of my life. And therefore, it gives me pain when I see kids being harassed. First is that we have to control our anger. When we control our anger, when they act funny ways, we control ourselves. Later, when we get settled, when we pass our own exam, your kids become like the professor who sets an exam for you. When you pass that exam, then later you can address that issue. When you control your anger, you're happy, the kid is also happy, you call them up and say, hey, yesterday you did like this. This is not good for the family. Are you aware of that? This is not good for your future. Are you aware of that? Are you going to stop this or not? Because at that time, the energy is different. That's a loving energy. The child will say, Mommy, I'm sorry. Yeah, try it. We don't want to take the exam. We want the child to take the exam and pass. How does that work? Every one of us is prone to acting in ways that will hurt the other person. How many times you have hurt your child? How many times you've told them, I'm sorry? You do?
I tell you, and I don't hit. I think that's why.
No. Hurt. I mean, anytime whether you say some hurtful words or something,
yeah.
Not using your hands, but just when you, look, some people, their words can hurt someone. If you use bad words on the child, it might be very cool, not even harsh. They may change your face, and their countenance changes. So sometimes we act in ways, or we say things that the child feels offended, but because we think we are the parent, we have the prerogative to offend the child, and the child doesn't have the prerogative to offend us. Everyone is prone to be offended. Whether it's your child or whether it's somebody else in the family or anywhere, we should tolerate, but we should address it later when our anger simmers down. The time we are angry, we have different energy. If we want to address it that time, it won't work. It will just create more problems. It will create more conflicts. You understand the point? There's nothing wrong in setting your kids straight. But there are ways to do that. Even little kids. I don't know whether I mentioned that story here. 8 years old girl. The father came back from work one day. That was at Laguna Beach in California. I was there. The father came to confess to me. After giving a class on Sunday, he came to me to tell me what he did to his 8 years old daughter. He came back from work one day, and he just started, insulting this girl, saying all type of ills for nothing. The girl tolerated. Very un-American. That girl's attitude, very un-American, because the typical American girl would be to call the police and put that guy into jail. Oh yeah. But she tolerated everything. So he went ahead to tell me all of this story. So I said, bring the girl here. So he called the girl. I said, pay obeisances to this girl. You think you're the father, but she has higher values than you. But you know what? The funny thing he told me, after that, he said, after some days had passed of that incident, of coming back from the office and insulting her, they were all happy in the house. The 8-year-old girl said, Dad, you remember that day you came back from the office? And you did like this, you did this to me. Did you have fight with anybody in the office that day? 8 years old. Did you have a fight with anybody in the office that day? In other words, if you had a fight, it means that you can bring that anger to the family and I become the brunt bearer. So the father confessed that yet he had a fight with. He had a lot of fight in the office that day. So bottom line is that if 8-year-old girl could tolerate and then not just brushing the whole issue aside, address the issue afterwards, and it came out so Parker. Have you heard of that word Parker? There's a Parker pen. A Parker pen, Parker. Well, this is a European pen. When we are little kids, yeah, Parker. So you get perfect results. That's meaning. You get perfect results by being tolerant and addressing that issue when you have overcome the anger. Okay? All right, so I think that we have to draw the curtain for today. And again, thank you very much for coming to participate in this Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki.